see for those of who are coming in a little later. Excellent. So let's talk about the essence of Burgundy and Provence. This is a cruise aboard Amacello, which is with AmaWaterways, sailing from Arles to Dijon. And of course, it wouldn't be fair to say that this is just any cruise. No, this is a special cruise. This is a special cruise with, of course, the Sonoma Valley wineries. We're excited, of course, to have Klein family cellars, Dane cellars, Gloria Ferrer, and of course we have with us today Robin Sebastiani. I'm sorry, I can't talk today. And we have so much to share. So why don't you each take an opportunity to quickly say hello and welcome to everybody.
I'll get us started. It's been such a pleasure to work with Expedia Cruises and really planning this getaway together with this group, bringing Sonoma Valley wine to France and inviting everyone to come and join us. I personally have been on a wine cruise before, and it was such a memorable experience that when the opportunity came again to pull together a team to come and do the same, it was an absolute no-brainer. So I know that we're all in for a treat. We've been busy looking at some really fun wine excursions and things that we can do above and beyond, and are thrilled to have you here joining us to learn more.
Awesome. And Melanie from Gloria Ferrer, you're with us.
Oh, well, thank you everybody for joining. I am Melanie with Gloria Ferrer. We're really excited to be part of this. Going out to Burgundy, we do primarily sparkling, but also Chardonnay and Pinot, and we can't wait to bring those wines to France and have them experienced on the waterway. Just a little bit about me. I've been with Gloria Ferrer for 5 years now. Kind of led the charge here to get us certified organic. So this year marks our very first certified organic harvest. So it was 5 years in the making. So we're very, dedicated to sustainability, organic, the people, the community, and everything. And I think this is such a great event to kind of pull all of us together, bring in some community, bring out some people that, aren't in our backyard every day, and, have a little trip of a lifetime, I think. So I'm really excited. Um, this actually cruise is going to set off a whole month that I'm going to be in Europe. So I love it. It's a great way to set off that month. So I'm really looking forward to meeting some of you.
Absolutely. Well, I have to say, when you say about spending a month in France, I look at this itinerary and I just get so excited, right? Because France, this particular region that we're talking about, it is going on the Rhone and Saône rivers. Forgive me as I get all dramatic with my hands, but I love to think of this map, right? So as you're looking here at the map, we're going to be sailing north. We started Arles. We fly into Marseille and then we start in Arles, and we're going to work our way up through Avignon, Libère, Vignes, Lyon, Macon, Tourneau, all the way up to the port of Dijon, which is actually not in Dijon. It's about 45 minutes away. It's called Saint Jean de l'Osme. And it's really unique because most river ships actually don't go up that far. They actually don't go up on the Saône very far. And why? Because there is a turn that goes under a bridge that's really tight. So only a small ship, a specific small ship, can make it through that particular area. So this cruise really goes up, and that's why it's called the essence of Burgundy, into that Burgundy region that most other river ships cannot do. So this is a real thrill to be able to talk about this particular itinerary, especially from a wine perspective. One of the things you'll notice as you look at that itinerary, it's teeny tiny. So I'm going to show you some great pictures, but the words are tiny there. And what those words are talking about are the excursions that are included. So as we talk about all these destinations and the ports that we're going to visit and some of the things that you can see, keep in mind that these are all things that you can do included in your cruise fare. So that makes it even more exciting to know that We're not going to nickel and dime you. There's not a lot of add-ons. This is all included. So let's get started on a little tour here of the wine region that we're going to. So we're going to start in Arles. We talked about that. This is down at the very southern tip there of France. And the ship is going to actually overnight in Arles and then hop over to Avignon. And when we think about Arles, immediately things come to mind of the Roman amphitheaters and the Romanesque cathedrals. You can do a guided walking tour of these ancient sites. You could also choose a bike tour. And then, of course, there's going to be options to have a food tour because, of course, those of us who enjoy wine, we usually enjoy cuisine as well. And then the ship is going to move next day to Avignon. And as it moves to Avignon, of course, aptly named the City of Popes, you can visit the Papal Palace. Again, UNESCO World Heritage Town Center. You're going to hear that term quite a bit because these areas that we're going into, there are multiple UNESCO World Heritage sites. One of the other options that you can do is the Taste of Avignon, one of my favorites, because of course, there's 3 regional specialties that come immediately to mind. The macaron, right? Who can't think of that? The cheese, and not to forget the wine. Another option would be that you could go to, if you're a Van Gogh or Van Gogh fan, depending on whom you ask, I should say, or how you pronounce it. You could also go to the Vincent Van Gogh Foundation, showcasing his legacy. He painted about 70 paintings in this area there towards the end of his life. So many different options that you can do. The ship is going to continue to meander up towards Vevey. This is, of course, a charming medieval city. 16th and 17th century monuments you can experience either on walking tours or bicycle tours. One of my personal favorites, of course, is going to the hilltop village of Grignon. Why? Because I love truffles. And this is an opportunity to go and actually go out with the dogs and do truffle hunting. They find the truffles. You get to go back in. You get to sample. Yay, my favorite part. All of the goodies with the truffles. And of course, you have to make sure to leave room in your suitcase because they have lots of goodies to bring home. So one of those great tours that, again, that's included that you can explore. As you move on to Vintners, you're going to find that once again, there's a lot of ancient Roman history here. So you can go and you can look at the amazingly preserved ruins. If you like to be more active, you can take the guided bike tour. You'll notice right there close to the front of the river in this picture, it's actually called Virona. And the reason it's the Virona, the way of the Rhone, right on the Rhone River, it's this lovely level bike path, and you can take the bike tour there. There's something about that image of biking along the Rhone River that I think is very romantic and fun. If you're super active, you can also do the hike up to the monastery at Mount Pipet. You can kind of see it up there at the top of the picture. Again, these tours are included, right? So lots of options, lots of things to see. And we know that, of course, tasting as well as sightseeing is going to be an important part of this itinerary. So let's talk about Lyon, the gastronomic capital of France, right? There are more Michelin-starred restaurants here than there are anywhere else. One of my favorites here is a special tasting you can do at the Le Hall Market. And if you can imagine that it's in like 3 sections. So the first one, you actually go to the delicatessen stand. And you're going to have sausage and brioche. You'll have lots of meats, hams, bread, and of course, a glass of red wine. The second tasting is at the cheese stand, Yum, where you'll sample some Charlet, Pigeron, Comté, lots of cheeses. Again, they have some fresh baked breads, and white wine. And the third is at the pastry stand. And that's where you can have all kinds of sugar-coated tarts served with water or tea. So again, lots of opportunities to taste your way through. There are nearly 2,000, I think, restaurants in Lyon, and 11 of them, last count, were Michelin-starred. So there's some serious opportunities for great dining there. We're going to meander up to Macron. also called the South Burgundy City. It's really right in that southern Burgundy region of France. There's going to be, again, a walking tour to visit the local Macron vineyards. There's museums, historical sites. There's some of these, again, wonderful cathedrals with neo-Romanesque frescoes and lots of chapels. You're going to, again, have opportunities to taste, explore. And one of the things you'll note about this particular itinerary is that there are some afternoons where the ship is meandering from one port to the other. And why is that special? It's because that's where you're going to have some of those onboard wine tastings. So you'll have opportunities in the mornings and different times to be exploring and experiencing on shore. But then during those times where we're just leisurely floating along the river, you're going to have that experience of being able to enjoy the Sonoma County wine. So yay, what a lovely combination that will be. So when we get to Tournon, you can actually go to the little town of Tournon, the Benedictine Abbey of Saint Philibert. One of the other options, of course, oops, excuse me, I jumped too fast, is you can even visit the moated Chateau de Cormetin. And this is 17th century. So you're having an opportunity to not just see it from the outside, but go in, explore the gardens. This is a really fascinating site, one of those great moated chateaus. There is also close by a medieval village, Pension, and it has this beautiful, well-known preserved gateway and church and market hall, just again to give you a sample of the things that are to come. Chalon-sur-Saône is located again in southern Burgundy, really part of the Côte Charlonaise wine region. Chalon-sur-Saône, it has all these wonderful, I have to say, they're whispers of the secrets of their medieval past. So fun stories of things that have gone on there. So there's a great local market tour that you can visit. You can also, of course, visit Bonn. Bonn is close by, and with the tour to Bonn, you're going to have some tastings of wine, and you'll have a chance to even go in and visit the Hospice de Bonn. This little medieval city is definitely one not to be missed. And as we get to the end of this itinerary, we are going to conclude in Dijon. Actually, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to end in Saint-Jean-de-Losne. And there's about 45 minutes between Saint-Jean-de-Losne and the actual town of Dijon. So this is where you're going to have an opportunity if you want to perhaps extend in Dijon. There's opportunities to also go from Dijon up to Paris. Dijon's actually closest airport is Lyon. So give me any opportunity to go back to Lyon and spend a couple of days, I'll take it. So while all of these ports are fun and fascinating, the getting there is just as much fun. We have chosen AmaWaterways for this particular cruise, and it's a combination of reasons. I'm going to tell you lots of reasons why we love AmaWaterways in particular, but for this itinerary, a lot of it has to do with the fact that we need that small vessel that's going to be able to get us up into Burgundy where no one else can go. So let's talk a little bit about AmaWaterways. I mentioned earlier that the shore excursions are included, and they are, and there's so many options, so many choices, but they're also exceptionally fluid. So you're going to have one of three options for every tour, and that is they have what you'll see as the active walkers tour, the average walkers tour, and then the gentle walkers. And why is that important? I don't know about you. There's sometimes that I feel like meandering, and other times that I feel like giving it the gung-ho and hiking to the top of the hill. You want to be able to either set your own pace and stay at a slower pace, but not feel rushed by others. And at the same time, those who want to be active don't want to be waiting on others. So they offer these great options for all of them. And if you can imagine, when I say fluid, what I mean by that is that I did, for example, the hike up to Mount Pipette, and then the next day I had signed up for something really active, and I woke up the next morning thinking, yeah, I probably overdid it just a little bit, and I don't feel like being quite so active. I went to the front desk and I said, yeah, can I do something a little easier? And they said, oh, absolutely. Do you want this or this or this? and I exchanged the tickets and went off on tour. So unlike other cruise lines where they're very rigid about you have to book this in advance and this is what you're stuck with, here you have so many options. And again, it's very fluid. The bike tours, they are a little bit limited. So that would be the only one that probably encourage that you sign up for in advance. But the rest of them are very, very easy. And again, I love that they're all included. It's a huge difference. Another cruise line, won't name names, but today I was looking at them and they were charging an extra $150 for that tour to Grignon and the truffle hunting. And the fact that it's just included here, it just reminds me of the great value of AmaWaterways. Just because we are not drinking enough, there's an opportunity every night to have a sip and sail party. So we just get together for a time before dinner and have a complimentary cocktail hour. You will notice that with AmaWaterways, there's again a lot included. So you're going to have wine and beer with lunch and dinner, and you'll even have bubbles for breakfast if you'd like. But in addition to that, they have the sip and sail cocktail hour. If you did want cocktails after dinner, they would be optional. But again, they're extremely reasonable, so not a big deal. I love, again, the amount of inclusions and the great service that comes along with it. Now, very important, cuisine. AmaWaterways has award-winning cuisine, and not just award-winning, they also belong to these wonderful organizations that just elevates their cuisine overall. So you're going to find that they belong to the Tablish and Auberge de France, and their culinary director was specifically invited to be part of this organization because of their farm to table, because of their regional focus and excellence, continued excellence. They were also invited to be members of Chaîne de Rôtisseurs. Many of you are familiar with that. There's many who are involved with Chaîne de Rôtisseurs, but they are the only cruise line on the rivers that have been invited to this organization. Again, we are talking about the quality, the exceptional focus that AmaWaterways takes on these regional cuisines. So of course, the food sourcing and integrity is important. There are no microwaves on the ship, so you're going to find that everything is local, everything is fresh. You're going to see the chefs out in the marketplace. You'll even have opportunities to go with them. So we will be dining very, very well, as one should when going through France. You're going to find that, again, the breakfasts, the lunches, the options. This particular ship also has a specialty restaurant included, of course, and that means that there is going to be a lovely opportunity to dine at what's called chef's table. And that is an alternate dining experience that everyone will have an opportunity to experience. Another note that I want to make here is that today we are much more sensitive to food special requests and allergies, and AmaWaterways handles that so well. So whether it be gluten-free or intolerant of certain things, we just make sure that we know in advance so that we can share those concerns with the ship. And oftentimes, if they have questions, they'll actually have the chef meet with you. They're very concerned to make sure that everyone can fully enjoy their vacation. And of course, for those of us who would like to make sure that we don't bring those calories home with us, we'd like to exercise or at least be mindful of our activity. And with that, there is a wellness program on board. You're going to find there's a wellness host. And this wellness host is going to be able to host yoga or stretching in the mornings. There's nothing quite like as you're floating down the river to be able to go out and get that fresh air into the lungs first thing in the morning. The wellness host also accompanies all the bike rides. There's lots of different opportunities. Some of the more active hikes are hosted by the wellness host. So lots of opportunities, classes that you can do. Of course, we all want to stay connected because we want to be able to send photos home of all our adventures, stay connected on social media. And of course, if you really want to work, you can. Don't recommend it. But high-speed, I said I can't talk today. High-speed Wi-Fi is available and it is complimentary. So it's another great feature. So looking at this little ship, want to give you a glimpse of what she looks like inside, tell you a little bit about her. You'll see There's one of the lounges, everyone doing some exercises up on the top deck. This is what we call a French balcony vessel. And that means that all of the staterooms have French balconies. Again, she has to fit through tight locks, both her length and her width. Even her height is very important on this particular itinerary. So you'll notice in the bottom there's a picture of one of the staterooms. And I'm going to show you a few more pictures just so you have an idea. You'll notice again that these are French balconies. That means that those sliding glass doors open completely, and you have the railing on the outside. So you can breathe in that fresh air. You can choose to leave them open, to leave them closed. So there is no step out balcony, but you're going to enjoy the fact that you have all your space in your room, and each one will have opportunity to open the doors, with the exception of a couple of fixed window rooms down on the bottom deck. So I'll show you a picture of that as well. This is a picture of one of the suites. You'll notice that the difference in the square footage from 170 square feet up until 235. So there's a significant difference with the square footage of the suite. All of the tones of this ship are, they often say that in this region, when the sun sets, it casts a golden hue across the river. And those are the tones they've used to decorate this ship with. This is what we lovingly call the Swan View room. And this is, you'll notice that this is the fixed window. This is on deck 1. Why do I call it the Swan View room? Because quite frankly, you see those pictures at the bottom and you see the swans looking back in. That's why it's called a Swan View. So the French balcony is where you can see the couple standing there, and they're throwing little pieces of bread down for the swans, and the swans are right there at the level. So when you're on the, I was about to call it the swan deck, but when you're on deck 1, you're going to find you stand up to look out the window. So it's a little bit different. This ship also features 2 solo staterooms that is exclusive to this little ship. And that means that they are designed for solo occupancy. And so there's no single supplement on those. So if you're traveling solo, you want to make sure to grab those quickly. The top deck of the ship, you'll notice that all of those awnings can be retracted down, but there is a wonderful opportunity for you to sit up here, enjoy a glass of wine as you're floating down the river, whether it be in the afternoon, the early morning. You can play a game of chess. It's truly a lovely place to be. So we've talked a little bit about our itinerary. We've talked about the ship that we're going to sail on. We really need to talk about some wine. And we have some friends along here who can tell you a little bit more. And I'd say, Robin, would you like to start us talking a little bit about the experience that we can have with the wine?
Yeah, absolutely. How we came to be, I guess I should introduce myself in a better way, is I'm the executive director for an organization called Sonoma Valley Vintners and Growers Alliance and Foundation. And what that means, it's a lot of words, but I get to work with all of our local wineries in Sonoma Valley and our wine grape growers. And it's this amazing group of people that are passionate about wine. So I'm surrounded by these incredible, passionate people who are crafting the most beautiful wine. So to be able to bring some of them on a tour through France is just a delight. I also come from a wine family. My husband's family has been in the wine industry for many years, many years, and he'll be on the ship with all of his stories and fun to share. And then I have a canned wine company, which is a fun fact. And what we'll be able to do is have unique experiences that KK was alluding to, where we'll be able to dive into each brand and taste through the wines and really understand where the inspiration comes from and what they're doing, along with food and wine pairings that really showcase not only where we are with the cuisine, the wine that we've brought, but how it all ties into these great wine regions that we're touring. I would love to pass it off to Melanie if she has any, fun ideas that she's thought through for some of these tastings and experiences.
Well, I'm planning on bringing some of our our winery exclusive wines, but also some of the wines that we've had aging for some of them up to 20 years in our cellar. So we don't often bring these wines out. It takes special people to share them with. So we're going to bring some of those. Why this is important for us as well is, if, a lot of people don't know, but Gloria Ferrer back in the late 80s and early 90s actually imported several different clones from Champagne of Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. And those are the clones that we use today on our estate. And, a lot of those clones are actually used throughout Carneros here. And it's really important, we kind of go back to our roots and see what they're doing. And so I'm excited about that. Like I said, I'm going to bring some of our Chardonnay and our Pinot Noirs as well, because although we all love sparkling, um, I think we make exceptional Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. And I'm just really excited to like share our wines in a different place, everybody.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
Bart and Megan weren't able to join us today, but Megan, I mean, she was just talking about just the inspiration that has come from this area for her family and their winemaking approach. And then same with Bart. He is in this region is where he specializes as a winemaker. So we'll be able to go on tour, having that winemaker perspective is always super unique. So we have a lot of different aspects of the business represented, which makes it a lot of fun for everyone around. I always learn when I'm in a group like this, and it's so inspiring. And it just changes the way that you taste wine, right? So let's taste it all.
It's so true. And I think some of the experience that is unique is the fact that you're spending a week together. So you're not just in a tasting room for a short amount of time. You get to go on tours together and have chats and sit for dinner. It really furthers relationships, and it's so much fun for, I think, all parties involved. On this particular cruise, you're going to find that in addition to the welcome reception that is exclusive, there will be 3 wine tastings with the Sonoma Valley wines, and there will be 2 wine pair dinners led by your host. So these are really exclusive, fun events that are just going to further enhance the overall experience. I want to make sure that I also talk about who we are, because we're not just any travel agency. We are a travel agency that focuses on wine experiences. So we have a full team of wine cruise travel professionals who are very specifically trained to assist you with every aspect of your trip. So you're not talking to a call center, you're not talking to somebody around the world. We're all right here in the US. Most of us are based in the Bay Area. Many of us here in Petaluma in Sonoma County. So you're going to find you'll talk to a real person. They'll be able to help you with everything from your air to your pre's and posts and transfers. We want to make sure that everything's taken care of. So you can feel confident when you're calling our number or emailing us that you're going to work with a team who fully understands where you're going and all the special features of this particular cruise. So speaking of this particular cruise, there is a special promotion that expires September 30th, and we're getting close. So we want to make sure to bring that to your attention. The savings, the $400 savings, is scheduled to expire on September 30th. This particular cruise sails June the 4th to June 11th of 2026. It is a brilliant time to be in this region. So the spring has melted, the sun is out, it's not hot yet. It's just a great time to be in this region. So I encourage you that if you would like to join us, this ship only has 71 suites. That's it, 71 staterooms. And so she's small, she will sell out. I want to encourage you to give us a call. That number that you see there, I even encourage you to take a picture of it. That number is directly to our wine cruise team. So you'll speak with one of our wine cruise team members. You're welcome to email us as well at wineclub@expediacruises.com. But we do hope that you enjoy the opportunity to sail on the Rhone and the Saône And with that, we'd like to open it up to any questions that you might have. If everyone took their picture of this slide, I'm going to go ahead and open it up so that I can see you and we can answer any questions, because I see there's a couple in the chat box. Let me look at those real quick. Let's see. Oh, we learned that the Matsons are from Minneapolis. Welcome. Glad that you're here. I also see I had a few questions that were sent to me directly. Someone asked, let's see, it says here, oh, where will we be flying into? So yes, you will fly into Marseille in order to board the ship at Arles. And the closest airport to Dijon is Lyon. That's where you would fly back from. And of course, unless you want to take a train and go up further north to Paris, which is something that some like to do. But there are lots of options, but those are the general ones. Another question I see there is, I'm a Gloria Ferrer club member. Can I bring a guest? Absolutely. We encourage you to invite your family, invite your friends. It's all more fun when you can share it with others. So you are more than welcome to share. And just imagine that they're going to now experience the same wines that you love. So that's a great opportunity. Before I read these, are there any questions that anyone wants to just raise their hand and ask me directly? No, everybody knows everything. I love that. That's always great. Love that, Linda. Thank you for the question. Does the king bed separate to two twin? It absolutely does. And to be very clear, it actually is a little bit more than a queen bed. It's not quite a king. It is more like a queen size that splits into two twins. Thank you, John, for the question. Is this information online somewhere? It absolutely is. You're going to find that we have a link directly following this. I'm going to quickly shoot you an email, or actually I can just type it right in here because it's easier to type it than it is to say it. So you're going to go to Expedia Wine Club Cruises. And then I will go ahead and make sure that everyone is sent a direct link into this particular sailing so that you don't have to go looking for it. Oops, I'm sorry. It seems like somebody jumped out. And I see another question here. Passports, of course, yes, are required. They do need to be valid for 6 months after your return. I know one of the earlier questions that I received was about the European ETAs, the electronic travel authorization for Europe. They have not opened that or required it yet. So as those things, thank you, James just posted the direct link to the sailing in the chat box if you'd like to look at it. But as the European Union opens up requirements for those things, we let all of our guests know. So we're constantly making sure that whatever documentation is required, that we make sure that you have it for you. Other questions that you might have? No, everybody knows everything. I love this. So are you all ready to experience wine cruising in France?
Definitely.
I was going to say, I see some nods going on. I know that this particular itinerary is truly brilliant. Having sailed on the other parts of the rivers, when you go up to that northern region there, it makes all the difference in the world. I know we have with us today, we have the owner of Expedia Wine Club Cruises, James Murphy. Say hello, James. He is with us here, as well as our director of wine, Tom Blackwood, who helped choose this itinerary. And I know it's very specific because of the wonderful wines that everyone will experience. No other questions? Boy, you're an easy group. I'm used to being flooded. I'm used to being flooded with questions. So hopefully that means that I told you everything, and that you're excited to just join us. I do want to encourage you to do that soon. And if you are local, make sure that you're coming to the wine festival coming up here in September. Right? I think, Robin, the dates are September 28th, aren't they?
Yeah, Valley of the Moon Vintage Festival. We have events ranging from September 25th through the 27th. The 27th, the evening is the grand tasting event at the Sonoma Barracks that Expedia Cruises is our sponsor and partner with. So check out valleyofthemoonvintagefestival.org, a super short website for tickets. We'd love to see you.
Yes, absolutely. And if you can't join us there, do make sure that you join us on the river. So we look forward to seeing you all there. And if there are absolutely no other questions, I'll just say cheers, and we look forward to seeing you next year aboard AmaWaterways. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you.